Okay. Hello, everyone. Chris McMillon here with Autonomy Season 1. I'm here with Pam Batchelder. Woohoo! The heart and soul. Yeah. The vibracious, always gives great feedback, adds a lot of value to Autonomy Season 1. How's the weather down there in the middle of Texas?
Thank you so much for that sweet introduction. The weather right now is looking pretty ominous. This is the predicted gigantostorm, and the sky is literally black.
I'm 3 hours north of you. What seriously, is it coming my way? Is it heading north?
See, I'm not sure. I totally depend on my sweet husband, Steve, for all of the weather. So I don't know.
Because last night,
I farmed that out to him.
last night we had storms all night long, and our creek is over flooded. And I don't know. I love it. I think it's great. But as long as it doesn't happen every day, I love a good storm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Pam, how did you find Autonomy Season 1? How did you get involved?
Well, the neatest thing is a few years back, and looking at my notes, it had to have been at least 2013, 2014, I started to become a big fan of Tragedy and Hope Media. And I just had seen Richard's work and read his story and thought, wow, this is pretty neat. And so I did a small, starting just a few years back, I did a small contribution each year, and then I could be in the community. Basically just to say, hey, I like your work, and I'm enjoying the content, and boy, do I love this peace revolution and all this. So the podcast, just amazing, and the authenticity of Richard and how he really wanted to bring knowledge to everybody. I just totally respected that. So I got this email, and I said, what is this autonomy? I says, oh no, I don't have time for this. I could never do this. And then I said, maybe this could help Rich and Lisa. Oh, I want to help, so I like to help. And so I thought I was helping them, but truly I've helped myself. And I'm very, very thankful to be a part of this group. Great to meet you, and going to be able to meet your family and meet all these wonderful Texans and people all over the world. It's exciting.
Yeah, you're hosting the Texas Autonomy Season 1 get-together at the end of this month. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. What should I bring?
What should you bring? Number one, a good attitude.
Yeah, no problem.
Which I know you've already got that one checked out. Two, just some, definitely your family, and just some stuff to just relax with. Any special things you need, bring them, but we'll have a lot of stuff, and we're going to have the wonderful Thorndale Meat Market, which I'm representing here with my cup right now. They're amazing. They're going to be doing the catering for the Saturday lunch. And so too, I opened it up to where it would be a whole weekend if people want to come camp or come stay. But our keystone thing is going to be the Saturday lunch, because some from Austin just want to drive in for the day. So yeah,
that's great. So you've raised 2 full-grown kids in this world, and they're awesome kids. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, my husband and I are probably, we think that's our best accomplishment. We do. We do. And we're very thankful for them. Our daughter is 25, and she's married to an absolutely wonderful man. And our son is 22, and he is working, doing some school, and has a very wonderful girlfriend. So they're pretty great contributing members of society.
So knowing everything that you've learned, particularly in the past 7-8 years, what advice would you give to someone who's starting off with a family at the earlier stages of this process in today's technocratic, obsessed world?
Well, thank you for that thoughtful question, Chris. My husband and I both are very, very passionate about good parenting, because as we always told the kids, even from the time they were little, you're a blessing. You've been sent to our family, and we need to raise you. We need to raise you the right way and to learn. And also, eventually, when they grew up, we wanted them to be able to be light to the dark world. We wanted them to be responsible human beings, and just definitely add to instead of subtract from our world. And so my main advice is the priority of the husband-wife relationship. I would really stress that, because sadly, as you well know, and most of our autonomizers know, things have been turned upside down. And so-called traditional values, or things that are based on truth, or things that are based even on common sense, went out the window some years ago. I say bring back common sense parenting. So there's quite a few different modalities we use to get certain lessons across. And two, some of the great things about the ages and stages with Piaget and things like that, it's real important to know that your child is not a mini adult. Your child is a human being that's a young child that needs to be helped, supported, and some use the term scaffolded until they can get to a place of responsibility. And along with good responsibility and learning comes a lot of rights. So it needs to be almost like basically the whole idea of the incubator. You know, you're keeping everything and keeping that child safe, and then helping them learn to grow, helping them learn the life skills. And sadly, many adults don't even have them. So it's hard for them to teach what they don't have. But the positive thing is they can learn. And I learned a lot. Steve learned a lot. And we can share. And we can be in communities and help one another. And when I was a young mother, Steve was a young dad, we had some great community members that helped us learn. So I would definitely give the advice is be around people of excellence and someone that's already gone the way that you want to go. And, maybe them being mentors, that would be a great help. So hopefully those are some good tidbits of advice, and I'd also be glad to talk with anyone that wanted to about some of my ideas.
Yeah, that's great. You're also very active in the community, because you understand the importance of adding value, because it just builds relationships, which leads to possibilities and makes the world a better place. What all are you involved in down there?
Well, I am located in Cameron, Texas. It's the county seat of Milam County. What I really enjoy is this is where a lot of my grandparents were from. And so I have a lot of family members and just all kind of neighbors that I knew even when I was young. And it's neat to be back here because I was in the Houston area many years. And what's fun is people are so community minded. And we love it. We love helping one another out. I started, along with several friends, a breakfast group on Tuesdays. We discuss everything, and there's every political and every belief system known to man. But because we're adults and because we decide to discuss things that are very, very important, we don't have any kind of fights or problems. We say, that's an interesting opinion. Another thing is our wonderful Chamber of Commerce. And I like to try to help with events when I can. And we're members, our small business, Cameron Plumbing, are members of the Chamber of Commerce of Cameron. We also love our theater. We have live theater in a town of 5,500. This is our 26th or 27th season. Wow, yeah. And wow. We have a youth theater this year. Woo! So community is a big deal to me, as you can tell. Great question.
Okay. That's it. We're going to move down to your community.
Come on down.
You're well practiced in the art of nonviolent communication then, because you definitely need that with all the interactions that you do. Do you consciously use that? Have you studied Marshall Rosenberg's techniques?
I've got to say the neatest thing ever was getting to learn. Some of it I was already doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know that I was doing it. But I love his work and took a kind of a deep dive after it was introduced in this course. And I believe Joshua Hale, he might have mentioned it, yeah, and a couple other folks. And it's so incredible how you can get to someone's need and how you can meet that need. And we don't have to just throw our hands up and be upset and not understand how to communicate. We really can communicate heart to heart and understand what's behind maybe some negative or even some positive emotions, what's really in someone's heart. And to me, that's where it's at. Yeah, so I like to practice that. And I love to elevate the good. I'm always saying that. What are you doing to elevate the good?
And you could argue nonviolent communication ties in with sales in the true sense of the word, not in the, you know what I mean, sleazy
Yeah.
car salesman reputation kind of sales, but sales as in the autonomy definition of sales, where everyone's needs are met and everyone's happy. It's the same, really. I mean, it definitely ties over. Before you got involved with the Peace Revolution and Tragedy and Hope, what led you to the Tragedy and Hope? I mean, you're aware of certain issues, certain truths, realities that are going on in this world that most people are not. You know what I'm talking about, and that covers so many topics. Were you starting to become aware of these things before you got your hands on the Peace Revolution podcast and sources like that, or how did you take the red pill?
And that's so neat too, that is such a great reference. We even spoke of that a few years ago. My husband and I mentioned, yeah, we're going to take the red pill, even before there was a conference, even before there was all that, because both of us made some commitments many years ago, and we said, we don't like some of the things that are happening. And we even spoke about that today at lunch. We were thinking about, some of these things that are happening now. We had a pretty wise friend in the late 90s say, I see the direction America's going. And at first we thought, wow, he's just an older person who's grouchy. But if he wasn't right, wow. And then, of course, as we all had such a horrible time with the entire attacks of 9/11, and something didn't seem right. And then to feel like our freedom was taken and taken and taken. And when we would go to family vacations to see my in-laws up in Connecticut, and we'd have to go through all these machines and we'd have to have these searches. And it was traumatic for the kids and for myself and my husband. And we're like, wow, this is not right. Then, of course, 2008. September 2008, Hurricane Ike ripped through Houston area. And with that, we had lost power at our house for 17 days.
Oh, wow. And the fact that was the beginning of the recession as well, on top of the hurricane.
You better believe it. So it was a double whammy, because, of course, with the power out, you're only going to use a generator for certain things, and you're not going to waste, So we had a battery operated radio, and my husband was listening to a whole lot of reports about what was happening in the markets. And so here it was, a double whammy. It's like, wait a second, infrastructure torn up in this area, and we're in the fourth largest city in America, and it's taking this long to get this done. Things of this nature. It's like, there's something really wrong. And then with all the financial stuff, so we started devouring all kinds of stuff. I mean, Solari Report with Catherine Austin Fitts. We started with her, Dylan and Reed, The Aristocracy of Stock Profits. Absolutely wonderful. He started with Zero Hedge. We went to Truth Dig, all of these different sites. And Chris Martenson, have you heard of him? The one that Chris Martenson.
But I don't know his work.
Yeah, he was the one that said the 3 E's: energy, environment, and one other, which I can't remember right now. Those are the 3 things that were going to create a lot of havoc and difference and interact with each other in the next 20 years. And that this next 20 years was going to look a lot different than the last 20 years. And here we are 10 years on, and yeah, it certainly has. So anyway, it was quite a few different things. And then that's when we found the Peace Revolution podcast, and we found all of Richard's resources. And we literally have big stacks of paper and lots of notebooks and things that we printed. We're like, you never know when the internet's going to go away. So we had paper.
And I suggest we still keep getting them on physical paper or on the hard drive, just in case, because the information, the Tragedy and Hope website is such a plethora of priceless information. It's amazing. Yeah, cool. And do you go through in order? If you just started, did you just start with episode 1 and start making your way through, plus all the side, shows like what you've been missing and history, so it doesn't repeat? Which ones were some of your favorites?
I just jumped right in and I felt like a little kid at a buffet. And so I was like, wow, look at all this.
Yeah.
And hours would go by and I'd be listening or I'd be reading or this Richard Crowe guy's amazing. How can he do all this? So it just was really a neat path that we both, and then too, every morning or in the midday or in the afternoon or whatever, since we've always had our own small business. And if he was not out, our office has always been in our home. So if he wasn't out on calls or working, then we would just discuss. And it was great to have all those resources. And then too, with us both being like-minded, that's just such a help, because I know it's hard when your partner is not on the same wavelength, but we have been together on it, which is wonderful.
That's great. So how are you finding autonomy? How has it been for you? How has your life improved since the course has begun?
Well, it's so amazing because I found myself in too many frustrating situations that I had allowed to happen in my life because I was helping. And sometimes I overhelp. And when I should be teaching someone to fish, instead I'm fishing for them and continuing and cleaning the fish and making it look nice and feeding them. I'm taking the metaphor to the nth degree. And that's not good. There's sometimes that things need to fail in order for that other person to reevaluate, is this really my highest and best use of time? And when Richard said that, it was a light bulb going on in my head in one of the lectures. What is my highest and best use of time? It's not this. And so it's neat because I've been working on some things to make life easier. I kept running up against not being able to complete them, and autonomy is helping me complete these things. So by the end of June, I'm going to have several of my goals completed, which one of them is to have an 80% paperless office. So almost everything will be with me on my phone when I go places, and I can look up just about any document, about any property, about any question anyone can throw at me. Yeah.
Have you dabbled with the brain model much?
I have wanted to get into that, but since I had done the GTD and the Evernote, I was trying to refine. Yeah, I like that, David Allen, getting things done. Woohoo! That's right. Yeah, and since I had been doing that, oh yes, yeah. I bet I have mine in there too, but my computer's not where my bookshelves are. So yeah, and what's neat is I said, okay, don't jump in with even more that you won't complete. Complete what you're doing already. Yeah. So I've been refining that and enjoying refining that. And enjoying getting papers off my desk and where they need to be instead of a giant mess.
Yeah, I mean, remember the beginning of the course, that was the first thing we had to do. Moving forward, it all starts with your personal space. You cannot move forward until you take care of yourself. Marie's giving me a dirty look because I'm a bit of a hypocrite right now, because if you could see around me, my desk is an absolute disaster.
Yeah, don't look at mine. That's what I'm still digitizing stuff, and still and I'm working on all the rest of the taxes that I filed extensions on. So yeah, please don't look.
Very good. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
My number one important thing that I always want to share is instead of cursing the darkness, light a small candle. My mom used to always say that, and I believe in that, because there is a lot of bad, but you know what? There's a whole lot of good. And so when we're strong within ourselves, within our families, within our communities, it goes out like a beautiful ripple. And we can change our world, even if we can't change the world.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's my
change what you can control. I've got Richard's little cheat to when you're feeling overwhelmed. What could go right, what could go wrong, what do I know, what do I not know, what can I see, what can't I see, what questions do I need to ask, what might the answers look like, what can I control, what can't I control, because and this class is overwhelming. It's because even when the lectures stop, we're going to be processing all the information and moving forward with it all. it'll never stop. It's the skills for life. Really, it's amazing.
Yes.
Cool. Well,
That
Pam,
is
sorry, go ahead.
I just want to say how much I enjoy all of your contributions to the class. It's fantastic. I like learning more about your family, and of course I love your singing and all of your great information about how you lived abroad for so long. So I want to appreciate you, and thank you very much for approaching me to do an interview. Thank you very much. I sure appreciate it, Chris.
Oh, thank you very much, Pam. Okay, I'll see you later.